Imagine waking up in a cave, exploring an underground city, and floating above surreal valleys all in a single day. Welcome to Cappadocia, a destination where all of this comes together in one trip. Located in the heart of Turkey, Cappadocia spans approximately 5,000 square kilometers and is home to some of the most extraordinary landscapes on Earth. Its fairy chimneys, tall slender rock spires, were sculpted over millions of years by volcanic activity and erosion, creating a terrain unlike anywhere else. We recently got back from exploring this region, and in this guide I'll take you through 25 unforgettable locations, from the must-see highlights to lesser-known spots. The locations are presented based on their proximity to each other. That will make this video a useful reference if you're planning your own itinerary. At a relaxed pace, these stops can be comfortably explored over 4 to 5 days. So without further delay, let's get started. The best way to start exploring Cappadocia is by flying into Nevşehir Airport and renting a car. Since we won't be returning to this part of the region later, this is a perfect opportunity to visit our first location. It is a 38-kilometer drive, taking about 30 minutes before we continue to our accommodation and begin exploring Cappadocia's iconic landscapes. Our first stop is the Hajı Bektash Valley complex, a site often overlooked by tourists but key to understanding Alevi culture in Turkey. Dedicated to Hajı Bektash Veli, a 13th century philosopher, this complex honors his teachings on love, tolerance and equality, which continue to shape Alevi traditions today. The complex features courtyards, tombs and exhibits offering insight into his philosophy and its lasting influence on Turkish society. The museum inside the complex also showcases manuscripts, artifacts and cultural displays, helping visitors grasp the depth of his philosophy. Best of all, entry is free. While it may not be as well known as other spots in Cappadocia, it is a worthwhile stop for anyone interested in history, philosophy or Turkish culture. Now we head 54 kilometers into the heart of Cappadocia, a 46-minute drive from our previous stop. Here we'll first settle into our cave hotel before exploring two key attractions in Uçhisar: Uçhisar Castle and Pigeon Valley. As we shift from cultural landmarks to unique accommodations, Cappadocia offers an experience everyone should try at least once: staying in a cave hotel. These hotels allow visitors to sleep in rooms carved directly from volcanic rock, where ancient architecture blends with modern amenities. For our stay, we chose Karlik Cave Suites, where a private room cost us €135 per night. This was a slightly higher-end option, combining traditional stone architecture with modern convenience, including Wi-Fi, a private bathroom and authentic decor. However, Cappadocia has cave hotels for every budget. Stay in Peace Cave Hostel offers dormitory beds for under €20 per night. On the luxury end, Museum Hotel provides high-end amenities and panoramic views for those seeking an upscale stay. Other notable options include Mithra Cave Hotel, known for its scenic terrace that is perfect for watching hot air balloons, or Excedra Hotel Cappadocia, which is located near Ortahisar Castle, offering authentic charm and great views. After settling in our accommodation, let's begin exploring Uçhisar's highlights. Uçhisar Castle, the highest point in the region at approximately 1,300 meters above sea level, is a prominent landmark offering an unobstructed view of the surrounding landscape. Once a crucial defensive structure, it was used by Byzantines and early Christians as a watchtower, offering a lookout point for regional defense. To reach the top, you will pass through a network of tunnels and carved chambers before ascending roughly 80 steps. The climb can be steep in places, but the reward at the summit is a 360-degree view stretching across the dramatic Cappadocian landscape. On clear days, you can even spot Mount Erciyes, an inactive volcano and the highest peak in central Anatolia, standing at 3,917 meters. In my opinion, the best times to visit are sunrise and sunset, when the valleys are in golden light. The entrance fee is approximately €6 and we found it to be well worth the price. As you descend from Uçhisar Castle, you'll come across Pigeon Valley, named after the countless pigeon houses carved into its rock formations. Historically, these shelters served a practical purpose where farmers collected pigeon droppings to enrich the soil and improve crop yields. Today, Pigeon Valley offers a scenic 4-kilometer hiking trail connecting Uçhisar and Göreme. The route takes about 1.5 hours one way and features relatively easy terrain, making it accessible for most hikers. Along the way, you'll pass through lush orchards, small streams, and striking rock formations. For a stunning panoramic view, the main viewpoint just south of Uçhisar is a great stop. Here you'll also find the famous Evil Eye Tree, a local landmark covered in hundreds of blue nazar amulets. These charms believed to ward off negative energy and add a striking contrast against the valley's earthy tones. The area is also home to diverse flora and fauna, including wildflowers and various bird species. So if you're looking for a great introduction to Cappadocia's landscape, I highly recommend this hike. From Uçhisar we had 5 kilometers, an 8-minute drive to Göreme, the central hub of region's tourism. Before we discuss concrete landmarks here, let's first talk about the signature Cappadocian experience, one that mostly takes place in the valleys surrounding Göreme. At sunrise, Cappadocia's sky fills with countless colors. Each year, over 500,000 visitors rise before dawn to experience one of the world's most breathtaking balloon flights. The adventure begins early in the morning, with flight times varying by season. In October, we reached the viewpoint around 5 a.m. and within half an hour, the sky came alive with dozens of colorful balloons drifting over the valleys. The average flight lasts about an hour, with balloons soaring up to 1,000 meters above the unique landscape. What some might find reassuring is that Cappadocia's hot air balloon pilots undergo extensive training, requiring approximately 15 months and over 200 flight hours, which certainly contributes to their strong safety record. Pricing fluctuates based on the season, basket size, and additional services. A cheaper ticket usually means a larger group inside the basket, while premium packages may offer a more private experience, post-flight celebrations, and a flight certificate. In winter, prices can be as low as 100 euros, while peak season luxury flights may cost up to 400 euros. In our case, we received a last-minute offer from our hotel for 250 euros per person, which we ended up rejecting. Given the popularity of this activity, I suggest you book it in advance, which will generally guarantee you the best price. And even if you're not flying, the sight of hundreds of balloons rising over Cappadocia's valleys is worth waking up early for. During our travels, we started every morning by watching the balloons ascend from various viewpoints across the region's valleys. In the upcoming sections, I'll share some of our favorite spots for this. But one thing is certain, watching balloons in the outstanding Cappadocia's landscape was easily one of the best traveling experiences in our lives. Now that we arrived in Göreme, let's explore our next 5 locations, many of which are perfect for balloon watching. Göreme Panorama View, Love Valley, Rose Valley, Sword Valley, and Göreme Open Air Museum. Göreme Panorama View is a quick and convenient stop on the way to Göreme that grants a wide-angle view of the region's unique landscape. It is located right before the town of Göreme, and we found this viewpoint to be a great first stop for those just arriving in the region. It's like an introductory glimpse into Cappadocia's striking geological formations. Like the rest of the region, these fairy chimneys and rock formations were shaped over millions of years by volcanic activity and erosion, carving the soft, tough rock into the surreal scenery we see today. The viewpoint is easily accessible by car, with a large parking area that offers free parking. Sword Valley takes its name from the tall, thin rock formations that rise from the ground like sharp blades. The valley is best explored on foot, with winding trails that bring you up close to these impressive rock spires. However, the terrain can be uneven and rocky, so make sure you have good footwear. For a more adventurous experience, ATV tours have become a popular alternative. These off-road excursions allow visitors to cover more ground, reach remote viewpoints, and experience the landscape from a different perspective. Love Valley, also famous for its distinctive rock formations, draws visitors from all over the world. One of the best times to visit is at sunrise, as the valley is a prime location for watching hot air balloons. We went there on our first day, and what a sight it was! The balloons often float around this viewpoint shortly after takeoff, with some ending up landing nearby. It's like they are putting on a show just for you. For those who prefer to stay on the ground, Love Valley offers several hiking trails suited to different skill levels. These winding paths take you through the valley, providing stunning views of the surrounding landscape and a closer look at Cappadocia's towering rock formation. To reach the valley, follow a gravel road leading to the main viewpoint. Huge open areas are available where people park their vehicles, and when we visited in early morning, parking was free. However, others seem to come across small charging fees in certain parts or during peak hours. There are also a few tea stalls and a small shop, mostly catering to balloon watchers. If you plan to hike during the day or evening, I would say it is best to bring your own water and sun protection, as these stalls may not always be open and shaded areas are limited too. As the sun rises over Cappadocia, Rose Valley comes to life in its signature pinkish red hues. This picturesque valley offers some of the most rewarding hiking experiences in the region. During our visit, we learned that its distinctive coloration comes from iron oxide deposits in the rock, creating a warm rosy glow that seemed to intensify at dawn and dusk. The hiking routes through Rose Valley lead to several less-known spots. Along the way, you can come across ancient cave churches and their intricate frescoes inside. Rose Valley turned out to be an incredible spot for balloon watching too. On our second day in Cappadocia, we witnessed the hot air balloons from an entirely new perspective. This valley served as a common takeoff point, allowing visitors to observe the preparation process as crews set the balloons up for flight. For parking, people tend to leave their cars anywhere they find space, but it is best to park closer to the entry by the edge of the valley. We had our car further inside the valley and were later asked to move it, as it turned out to be a takeoff spot for one of the balloons. Göreme Open Air Museum is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that showcases the Byzantine history of Cappadocia. Here we were struck by the sheer number of rock-cut churches and monasteries scattered across the complex. The museum's churches house some of the best preserved examples of Byzantine art in the region. As we explored the site, we got a chance to admire intricate frescoes on the walls and ceilings depicting scenes from the life of Christ and various saints. Among the more remarkable structures in the complex is the Dark Church. This church requires an additional entry fee, but the limited light exposure within the cave will introduce you to the most vibrant and best preserved artwork in the entire museum. A lesser-known highlight is the Buckle Church, known locally as Tokali Kilise, located just outside the main museum area. It is included in the general ticket price, but is often overlooked. This church is one of the most intricately decorated in the region, featuring exceptionally detailed frescoes. If you have an extra time, it is a great place to stop. One thing to mention is that photography is strictly prohibited inside the churches. According to the staff, flashlight exposure can damage the colors of the frescoes, and they enforce this no photo rule quite strictly, even if you're not using a flash. The Göreme Open Air Museum has an entry price of €20 with an additional €6 fee to access the Dark Church. It tends to get crowded throughout the day, so arriving right at opening time at 8 AM is the best way to avoid the peak crowds. For those needing a break or refreshments, there's a souvenir shop and a small snack stall selling drinks and light snacks near the entrance. Prices here tend to be on the higher side, so if you're planning a longer visit, it is always better to bring your own water and snacks. We had just 8 kilometers, an easy 11-minute ride north from Göreme. But first, a quick pause before we continue. We're on a journey to reach 1,000 subscribers and we're getting closer, so if you're enjoying the video, hit subscribe and come along for the ride. Alright, let's keep going. Up next, we'll explore Çavuşin Village, followed by a visit to a local horse ranch, and finally, we'll make our way to the town of Avanos. Our journey through Cappadocia brings us to Çavuşin, a village shaped by both time and history. The village is split into two distinct parts, the modern section near the main road and the older area perched on a large rock ridge. In the early 1960s, concerns about the stability of the old cave dwellings led to a government-initiated relocation. Villagers were moved to newer, safer homes closer to the main road, leaving behind a ghost town of abandoned cave houses. Here you can explore the two notable rock-cut churches. the Church of St. John the Baptist, and the Church of St. Nicephorus. St. John the Baptist Church, visible from the main road, has partially collapsed facade, which reveals two enormous frescoed angels exposed to the open air. Inside you'll find a number of frescoes depicting various Bible stories. The church's hilltop location also offers really great views. The Church of St. Nicephorus, located in the old part of the village, is a massive 6th century basilica. While its frescoes have faded over time, its elaborate carved decorations still make it a fascinating site to explore. The very name of Cappadocia, which translates to the land of beautiful horses, reflects the region's long-standing connection to these animals and their role in shaping its history. Cappadocia's equine legacy runs deep, with ancient imagery depicting its people to their horses. These animals were once highly prized for their speed, agility, and sure-footedness on the battlefield. Horse breeders were held in such high regard that emperors and kings sought after their stock, often using them as prestigious gifts or even to settle tax debts. Today, the horses of Cappadocia have found a new role in the region's booming tourism industry. Popular horseback riding trails wind through the valleys, offering a unique way to experience the landscape. The region is also home to local breeds like the Anatolian horse, known for its endurance and ability to navigate the rugged terrain. Visiting a local horse ranch will give you the chance to see these horses up close and even take a ride through the scenic surroundings. There are plenty of tour operators offering horseback riding experiences, ranging from short, scenic rides to full-day excursions. Prices typically start at around €15, increasing based on the duration and level of service. Safety is a priority, with tour operators carefully matching riders to suitable horses and providing proper riding gear. Most tours are beginner-friendly, with trained horses and brief instructions before the ride. No prior riding experience is typically required. Age requirements vary, where some tours allow children as young as 8, while others have a minimum age of 15, but it will be best to check with individual operators for specific policies. Avanos is a charming town renowned for its ancient pottery making tradition. Situated along the Kızılırmak River, its continuous supply of high-quality clay has allowed Avanos to thrive as a pottery hub for thousands of years. The Kızılırmak River, also known as the Red River, carries mineral-rich clay with a fine texture and excellent malleability. These natural properties are one of the key reasons behind the durability and aesthetic quality of Avanos' handcrafted ceramics. While in Avanos, we had the chance to experience pottery making firsthand at one of the many local workshops. These hands-on experiences allow visitors to learn directly from skilled craftspeople and gain insight into traditional techniques and methods. From shaping the clay to adding intricate designs, the process is both mesmerizing but also fun. For those interested, workshops are widely available throughout Avanos. Prices vary. Some might charge €4 or €5, while others offer free lessons with the expectation that participants will purchase something from their store. From Avanos, we drive 14 minutes, about 10 kilometers back, to visit Paşabağ, Zelve Open Air Museum, and Imagination Valley. Paşabağ, also known as the Valley of the Monks, is home to some of Cappadocia's most distinctive fairy chimneys. What makes Paşabağ's fairy chimneys unique is their distinctive capped appearance. These chimneys, formed as harder basalt rocks, shielded the softer tuff beneath it from erosion. Over time, this created towering stone pillars that to most of us probably will resemble mushrooms or figures wearing hats. In the past, the valley served as a monastic retreat. Christian monks in the early Byzantine period carved chapels and dwellings into these rock formations, retreating here for solitude and prayer. Their hermitages are still visible all throughout the site. For those planning a visit, there is an entry fee of €13 as per 2025. Just a short distance from Paşabağ, Zelve Open Air Museum offers a look into a rock-cut settlement that was inhabited until modern times. Unlike many archaeological sites that were excavated after being abandoned centuries ago, Zelve remained a thriving community until 1952, when residents were forced to relocate due to dangerous falling rock and collapsing rooms. Walking through Zelve feels like stepping into a town frozen in the mid-20th century. The Turkish government relocated residents to newly built homes in nearby Aktepe, just a kilometer away, but the original village is here as a reminder of the previous way of life. The museum showcases ingenious cave dwellings that took advantage of the rock's natural insulation, maintaining comfortable temperatures year-round, even in Cappadocia's harsh summers and cold winters. The well-marked walking paths and the tranquil atmosphere compared to busier sites in Cappadocia is a lovely feature. If you're visiting during peak season, this will be a great option if you prefer fewer crowds. For those planning a visit, the entry fee is 13 euros, the same as in previously mentioned Paşabağ. Just a short drive from Zelve, we found ourselves at Imagination Valley, known locally as Devrent Vadisi. This fascinating location showcases nature's artistic side, where wind and water have sculpted volcanic rock into various formations that spark the creative mind. What makes this valley special isn't human-made structures, but rather nature's own artwork. Visitors often point out different figures in the formations. Some see camels, while others spot snails, dolphins, or even human-like silhouettes. It is a playful experience where everyone sees something slightly different. During our visit, we spent about 20 minutes exploring the area, which was plenty of time to appreciate these natural sculptures and take photographs. However, to see the formations up close, you will need to climb steep elevations and navigate uneven ground, so definitely have some proper footwear on if you're up for that. There's a free parking lot by the road and no entry fee. On the next stretch of our route, we have 4 more stops, starting just 7 minutes away, about 6 kilometers from Imagination Valley. We'll begin with a wine tasting tour in Ürgüp, make a quick stop at 3 Beauties, explore Ortahisar Castle, and wrap up the day by watching the sunset at Red Valley Park. Ürgüp, the wine capital of Cappadocia, has been producing wines since ancient Hittite times from the same volcanic soil that created the region's iconic landscapes. This modern wine hub maintains traditions dating back thousands of years. The region's unique resources, volcanic soil combined with a dry climate, creates distinctive flavor profiles impossible to replicate elsewhere. Ürgüp's winemakers specialize in native grape varieties such as Emir, a crisp white wine grape, and Kalesi Karası, known for its aromatic red profile. One of the oldest and most respected wineries in the region is Turasan, established in 1943. Visitors here can sample a wide range of wines, from dry whites to robust reds and sweet dessert wines, while learning about the winemaking process firsthand. Another standout is Koçabag Winery, a boutique family-owned establishment that blends traditional methods with modern techniques, specializing in organic and biodynamic wines. Many wineries in Ürgüp offer guided tours where guests can explore the vineyards, production facilities, and cellars before enjoying a tasting session. If you're planning a visit, consider arranging transportation in advance for a smooth and safe experience. Next, we arrive at the 3 Beauties rock formation, known locally as Uçhisar. These 3 distinct fairy chimneys stand prominently right along the roadside, making them a quick and worthwhile stop on our route. A short 10 to 15 minute visit here should be enough to take in the scenery and capture photos. According to local folklore, they represent 3 beautiful sisters who were turned to stone. Over time, this site has become one of Cappadocia's most recognized landmarks, frequently featured in postcards, travel magazines, and tourism brochures. On site, there is a designed viewing platform that gives the best vantage point to take in the rock formations, as well as the scenic background. We visited in the evening, and the parking area was spacious and free. Note that there are no facilities such as restrooms or cafes on site. Ortahisar Castle rises above the village that shares its name. It is a 90-meter high rock formation, carved over centuries into a fortress and settlement. Dating back to Byzantine era, Ortahisar's strategic location made it an important watchtower over the region. Beyond its defensive role, the castle also served as a storage center, using the rock's natural insulation to preserve agricultural goods like citrus fruits and grains. While similar to the more famous Uçhisar Castle, Ortahisar is less crowded, offering a quieter and more authentic experience. Entry costs a little over €2 and the climb to the top takes about 5 minutes. Just note that the steep steps can be challenging for elderly visitors and young children. Along the way you'll pass through rock-carved rooms, including living quarters, storage areas, and even a small chapel. Recent restoration efforts have helped preserve the structure and improve access for visitors. From the summit, you'll get wide panoramic views, while below, the village maintains its traditional charm with cave dwellings and local shops. Red Valley Park is one of Cappadocia's top sunset destinations. As evening approaches, the landscape transforms into a spectacle of reds, pinks, and oranges. This effect comes from the valley's iron-rich volcanic rock, as the low-angle light from the setting sun enhances its natural hues. At the end of the day, you're left with a breathtaking display that becomes more and more impressive with each passing minute. The main sunset viewpoint is essentially a parking lot, but for the best experience you can follow hiking trails to elevated viewpoints offering different panoramic angles of the valley. Since Red Valley is one of the most popular sunset spots, the main viewpoint gets crowded, especially during peak season. To get the best view, arrive at least 30 minutes before sunset, as this spot fills up quickly. While the valley is beautiful at any time, sunset transforms it into an unforgettable experience that makes the spot an essential addition in your Cappadocia itinerary. From the heart of Cappadocia, it is time to venture further and explore some of the region's more remote areas. From Red Valley, we'll travel 53 km in about an hour to reach Soğanlı Valley. From there, it's another 40 km and a 40-minute drive to reach Kaymakli and Derinkuyu underground cities, which are just 10 minutes or 8 km apart from one another. Beyond Cappadocia's well-known sites, Soğanlı Valley offers a quieter, less visited experience. Its ancient Byzantine churches, some with well-preserved frescoes, stand in a landscape that has changed little since early Christians sought refuge here. Hiking through the valley is as much about history as it is about nature. The trails pass by rock-cut churches and striking geological formations, revealing something new at every turn. Soğanlı is also known for its doll-making traditions, passed down for generations. Local women handcraft Soğanlı dolls from felt and natural materials, and they have become a symbol of the valley's craftsmanship. You'll find these dolls in local shops, where buying one is not just a souvenir, but also a way for you to support the local artisans who keep this tradition alive. We now descend into one of Cappadocia's most extraordinary architectural achievements. Kaymakli Underground City reveals a hidden world beneath the earth, an intricate refuge extending 8 levels below the surface, though visitors can currently explore only 4. Kaymakli's origins date back to the Hittite period, possibly as early as the 8th to 7th centuries BC, but it was expanded by Byzantine Christians who used it as a sanctuary from persecution and invasions. The city contained living quarters, storage rooms, communal spaces, stables and kitchens, providing everything necessary for survival while remaining hidden from threats above. The strategic defensive elements are quite impressive. For example, you can find massive stone doors rolled into place to seal off entire sections in case of attacks. The passages here can become very narrow, which sometimes drop to just 1.2 meters in height. However, these tight corridors always led to spacious chambers where we could stand upright and catch our breath. Remarkably, the locals who built this underground city also designed a ventilation shaft that to this day keeps the fresh air circulating throughout the complex. So despite being deep underground, we never really felt a lack of oxygen. Entry costs 13 euros. In addition, my research suggests that it's best to consider skipping these places if you are asthmatic, claustrophobic, or have high blood pressure. There are no information boards inside, so reading more about the site beforehand should enhance your experience considerably. Derinkuyu Underground City is another remarkable subterranean complex just 8 kilometers from Kaymakli, descending approximately 85 meters into the earth. This ancient city could accommodate up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and provisions. Derinkuyu comprises 8 accessible levels, each ingeniously designed to support extensive underground habitation. Here too they have a sophisticated network of ventilation shafts, some reaching depths of 55 meters, that ensure the continuous supply of fresh air throughout the city. When it comes to communal spaces, the city housed various communal rooms, including chapels, refectories, and even a religious school with a barrel vaulted ceiling on the second floor. The price to Derinkuyu underground city is the same as my previous mentioned Kaymakli, that is 13 euros. If we compare the two, Kaymakli seems to be wider, but Derinkuyu is deeper and goes down 8 floors. Also, when it comes to routes, in Derinkuyu you have a single path for going in and out, which means a little trouble if suddenly there's someone that wants to turn around and go back. In Kaymakli there are separate routes, one that leads deeper into the underground and the other that takes you out. So anyone who mid-exploration changes their mind can easily switch to the exit route. During our trip we chose to go with Kaymakli since it seemed to suit our needs a little better, but that was just our preference and it does not mean that Derinkuyu underground city is not worth your attention. Again, as a reminder, none of the underground cities is a good idea if you're asthmatic, claustrophobic, having high blood pressure, or any similar medical conditions. One of our final stretches takes us 55 kilometers, about 47-minute drive west from Derinkuyu. Here we'll find Selime Monastery and Ihlara Valley. Selime Monastery is an architectural marvel carved into a towering cliff face. As one of the largest rock-cut complexes in Cappadocia, it reflects the ingenuity of early Christian settlers who transformed the rugged terrain into a thriving religious and defensive center. During times of conflict, the monastery also served as a strategic refuge, providing shelter from invaders. As we explored the monastery, we came across a series of interconnected spaces, including a cathedral-sized church, halls, monks' quarters, kitchens, storage rooms, and even stables. The church, one of the largest in Cappadocia, features high ceilings, a central nave, and carved arcs. The complex also contains rock-hewn corridors and stairways leading to various sections, creating a multi-level living and worship space. Navigating this expansive site requires some physical effort as steep pathways and staircases connect the different sections. Some areas have uneven surfaces, so proper footwear with good grip is very important, especially for those with mobility concerns. Entry costs 15 euros, which also includes access to Ihlara Valley. The site is well equipped with paid parking, restrooms, and a small shop where visitors can buy refreshments and souvenirs. Ihlara Valley offers a striking contrast to Cappadocia's rugged terrain, a lush river canyon carved through volcanic rock. This 14-kilometer gorge winds along the Melendis River, making it one of the region's most refreshing hiking experiences. Unlike the surrounding landscapes, Ihlara surprises with its greenery. Byzantine monks once established over 100 rock-cut churches along the valley walls, 16 of which remain visible today. Visitors can start their hike from one of 3 villages, Ihlara, Belisirma, or Selime. Ihlara and Selime sit at opposite ends of the valley, while Belisirma is near the midpoint. We entered at Belisirma and we find it a convenient starting point for those not planning to hike the entire route. However, if you're considering a full hike, remember to plan your return trip accordingly. Many visitors don't realize the valley extends over 14 kilometers with limited transport options at the endpoints. If no ride is arranged, hiking back to the starting point turns this into a 28-kilometer round trip. We've been told the local taxis are sometimes available at a premium price, but it's best to double check availability and arrange transportation in advance if you're planning a one-way hike. However, if you're up for the full 28-kilometer hike, set aside 6 to 7 hours to complete the journey. Along the way, you'll find peaceful resting spots and riverside restaurants, just perfect for a break. As mentioned earlier, the same ticket that grants entry to Selime Monastery also includes access to Ihlara Valley. The entrance fee is 15 euros, but note prices might change with time. And for our final stretch, we head to a rather remote but quite unusual destination. A 150-kilometer drive, taking approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes, brings us to Lake Tuz, a huge salt lake that changes dramatically with the seasons. Our journey ends at Tuz Gölü, a place that at first glance may seem like nothing more than a vast, empty landscape. However, this massive salt lake produces over 60% of Turkey's salt and under the right conditions transforms into a stunning pink mirror stretching to the horizon, creating one of Cappadocia's most surreal photography spots. Covering over 1,600 square kilometers across the Aksaray and Konya provinces, Tuz Gölü is Turkey's second largest lake. With salinity levels reaching 300 grams per liter, Tuz Lake ranks among the world's saltiest bodies of water. The lake's pink transformation happens during warmer months, when certain algae and bacteria thrive in the high salt environment, releasing pigments that turn the entire landscape a vivid pink. These microorganisms also attract thousands of birds, including flamingos, whose diet contributes to their distinctive pink hue. While Tuz Gölü is famous for its pink waters and reflective surface, conditions vary greatly throughout the year. The pink color is not guaranteed as it depends on rainfall, temperature and algae growth. At times visitors may find a dry, cracked lake bed instead of a vibrant pink lake. So since it is a long drive to reach, try checking recent visitor photographs on Google to get an idea of current conditions and decide from there. The best time to visit is spring, around April to June, or autumn, from September to November, when temperatures are milder and colors are typically most vivid. Sunrise and sunset offers the most comfortable setting, while midday visits can be harsh due to heat and intense sun reflection from the salt surface. Sunglasses are a good idea to bring along. Another thing to consider is that because the lake bed is not the same throughout the seasons, in dry months it can be firm and cracked, but when wet, shallow water and salt crystals make it very slippery. Some areas might have sharp salt formations, so in general wearing sandals or water shoes is also a good idea. The main viewpoint is at the northern end of the lake, on the Ankara side, where you'll find a large parking area, a cafeteria, a market and other convenient facilities. And that wraps up our journey through Cappadocia's most incredible locations. In total throughout this video we covered more than 420 kilometers and spent over 6 hours on the road reaching these stunning spots. If we add up all the mentioned entry fees, the total comes to around 96 euros per person as of 2025, though with time the prices might change. Of course, if you're considering extra experiences like a hot air balloon ride or a cave hotel stay, you will need to set aside some more. And if Cappadocia isn't your only stop, then my guide to Istanbul's top locations will help you prepare.